Despite announcements and assurances of aid from the government, it seems the truth is very different on the ground. The Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG decried the lack of support to fisherfolk. Executive Director Jason Cainglet said those who cannot afford to head out to sea are increasing. Based on SINAG surveys, the number of fisherfolk across several Luzon provinces have dwindled to nearly half due to rising fuel prices. Data show that during the third straight week of the oil price surge, 30% of the fishing sector in Cavite, Bataan, Zambales, and Pangasinan had stood down. The Agriculture Department has rolled out a 3,000 peso fuel subsidy for fisher folk, but Cainglet insists the one-time assistance is not enough. And joining us tonight to talk about this and what ails the agriculture sector now is SINAG Executive Director Jason Cainglet. Good evening and welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening, Mrs. at Sir Ed at sa lahat po ng nanonood na kanyang programa.
Opo, ilan na po kayang mga mangingisda ang nakakuha na nung aid ng binibigay ng DA?
Based po sa hearing kanina, very minimal. In fact, pagka nung tinanong kung how much are to be given, unfortunately, ang budget pa lang nila is 100 million and ipapamahagi ng 3,000 each sa mangingisda at around 15,000 fisher folk. Ibig sabihin, not even 1% ng kabuoang 2.5 million fisher folk ang makakatanggap nitong first wave ng sinasabi nilang ayuda. So talaga pong very little, very late. It's 6 weeks since the conflict started in the Middle East. Wala po talagang nakukuha pa ang mga fisher folk at sila po talaga yung sumasalo ng bigat because yung crudo po kanina na I was hearing yung discussion nyo sa transport sector, mas mabigat sa ating mga mangingisda po yung impact kasi yung crudo, yun lang talaga ang kanyang kailangan para makapalaut siya sa mga karagatan, and they usually use between 10 to 15 liters. So kung tumaas po siya ng times 3, nasa 170 ngayon, ibig sabihin plus 100 per liter. Kung 10 liters yan, ibig sabihin plus 1,000 a day yung kanyang extra burden sa pangingisda. Kaya talagang marami na po ang tumigil because yung additional 1,000 ay parang nagsayang ka lang ng pagod mo, mapupunta lang sa krudo, yung kikitain mo po sa pangingisda.
Tama. Bakit po, saan po saan naiipit ang pondo? Ano po nangyayari? Dahil salita ng salita yung mga government officials natin na may ganitong pera, etc., etc.
Huwag ka maglala, may dating na ayuda, ganun.
Yeah. Sabi nila kanina, they would be needing 37 billion. Pero apparently, ang hawak nila is 100 million. May nakaabang na 10 billion from the presidential contingency fund something. But during the hearing kanina po sa Senate, in fact, sabi ng mga senators, you can use additional 28 billion. So ibig sabihin, 6 weeks into the whole crisis, kumbaga nagma-mathematics pa yung ating mga agencies kung saan kukuha ng pera and how to provide relief sa ating mga farmers and fisher folk. Pero sabi nga natin po, everyday na walang ayuda, pabawas ng pabawas po yung nagsasaka at pabawas ng pabawas yung nangingisda po. So it's really very unfortunate. At least yung transport, meron na nabigyan ng ayuda. They can easily shift po kung
tapos ang liit-liit pa nga yung 4,000 lang po, di ba? 3,000. 3,000
lang po to 15,000. So talagang yung ayuda as it is right now, talagang very little, trickle in the bucket dahil nga 2 million and yet 15,000 pa lang yung targeted mo na mabigyan ng ayuda. So again, ang sinasabi natin, no choice ang ating mga mangingisda kundi tumigil. Saan sila pupulutin? Habang tumatagal po, talagang nag-evolve. So yung crisis, sinasabi natin, matagal pa yan, naghahanda na, pero on the ground, it's right here and it's right now.
But I suppose the bigger problem is hindi nagkakasundo sa definisyon kung sino ang mangingisda, therefore sino ang eligible sa sa ayuda. Kasi if I understand you correctly dun sa hearing, ang sabi ata sa inyo kung wala kang pag-aaring bangka hindi ka counted, tama ba 'yon? Kasi if that's the case, that sounds like kung wala kang pag-aaring lupa, hindi ka magsasaka.
Kasi yung fuel na kanilang subsidy, sinasabi nila, pag you don't own a bangka, motorized bangka, hindi ka gumagamit ng krudo. Sa mga farmers, ganoon din. Pag wala kang farm machineries, wala kang tractor, wala kang thresher, wala kang irrigation pump, therefore, hindi mo kailangan ng krudo. So, it's a very outdated na requirement. Alam naman natin po sa mga fishing communities, naghihiraman ng mga bangka.
Tama.
Ganun po. Yung
Naghahanap
sa
lang sila ng palusot.
we're hoping not kasi alam naman nila yung sitwasyon sa ground. Kaya lang, sabi natin, kung yun ang pamantayan nyo, maybe that was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it's so outdated. Easily verifiable. May mga DSWD sa barangay level, they tap DSWD kung kulang ang tao ng DA, they work with the barangays, kilala ng barangays kung sino po yung mga nangingisda, easily verifiable 1 to 2 days. They
Pero
can come up with a list.
na-resolve ba yung issue yun? Kasi I think that's a very fundamental issue. Who do you define to be a fisherman or a farmer and therefore eligible for this kind of ayuda? Has that ever been resolved or was that resolved kanina?
Not yet kasi kanina pinag-uusapan pa, pinagdedebatehan sa kukuha ng pera. So I think mas basic yung sa kukuha ng pera. And then later, sabi natin, madali yan, go to the barangays, itap nyo yung mga, nandyan naman ng mga government agencies, it can work. Kasi nga, ang problema kapag namili ka ng bibigan lang, it would create trouble pa sa barangay. Bakit yung iba nabigyan, yung iba hindi.
Kaya nga.
It's an unnecessary problem pa sa barangay na magre-resolve pa sa conflict imbis na makatulong yung mga ayuda po na ipoprovide sana.
Naghahanap pa ng pondo. Ang ibig sabihin po yung contingency fund ni Presidente ay hindi pa na i-release para dito? Kasi yun ang sinabi ni Secretary Chu Laurel.
Kanina ang paliwanag nila, may mga paperworks pa nang gagawin, mainly administrative. So kaya sabi natin, it should be sooner kasi kung next week pa yan, baka wala nang
Unbelievable.
Baka wala na talagang...
Going to the fifth week?
What is the point of
Going into the-
declaring a national energy emergency with nothing to show for it?
I can sympathize with the rank and file ng DA. Talagang sinabi nila, wala sa budget wala sa GAA. So sabi nila, they're finding ways. Pero sabi natin, matagal na tong crisis. It's been 5 weeks, magsi 6 weeks na next week. So, sobrang tagal. It could have been done in 1 to 2 days kung talagang pinag-aksayahan ng panahon where to come up with a budget para ibigay po sa mga farmers and fisher folk.
Actually,
Kasi nag-ceasefire na nga Nag-ceasefire na.
yun na nga. Tapos wala pa rin
Wala pa rin
tulong.
wala pa rin budget.
At sa totoo lang, sa agriculture dapat ibuhos ang pera because we want to ensure food security.
Ang sabi nga natin, ayaw naman nating ikumpara, pero mas mabigat talaga yung problema ng food producers than itong mga nasa urban centers na meron silang mga community pantries, may support group, marami, pero sa kanayunan wala talagang ikaw ang bahala sa sarili mo. Of course, you produce food, may makakain ka. Kaya lang, pag wala ka ng panggastos to produce food, yun ang magiging problema. Swerte tayo dahil patatapos lang ng harvest ng palay, ng mais, kakaano lang ng ating mga vegetable growers, nandyan yung ating livestock. Pero in 2 to 3 months, magiging problema yan as we start preparing our land para sa panibagong
Sige po.
cycle ng farming. Pero sa mga fisher folk, Mrs., talagang wala. On a daily basis, nababawasan talaga yung nakakapangista because there is no support coming from government as we speak.
So what's the solution po? Let's talk about solutions kasi,
Kung may choice nga lang, actually, ang farmers and fisher folk, hindi sila humingi ng ayuda Kung kayang dalhin yung gas station sa mga pantalan, kung kayang dalhin ng gas station sa mga farms, okay, they need the support, yung crudo, para makapag-produce sila ng pagkain, para makapangisda sila. They're not even asking for ayuda, tapos tatambay na lang, magtotongit, inom. They need the ayuda para makapag-produce sila ng ating pagkain, makapanghuli sila ng isda, makapag-alaga ng baboy at manok para po sa ating food security. I know it sounds so romanticizing, pero yun lang talaga ang hinihingi po ng ating mga farmers and fishers, support para sa kanilang production. They're not even asking for support para bigyan sila ng ayuda.
So actually, you have two problems here. On one hand, you have farmers and fishermen who are not able to make a living dahil sa taas ng presyo ng krudo. On the other hand, kung hindi sila makapangisda, mababawasan yung supply ng isda at tataas ang presyo ng isda. So tatamaan
Another
din
pressure on-
yung consumer naman. Dun sa second half, sir, anong nakikita ninyo? Will there be an impact on supply and on prices?
Pag walang nakuhang support sa government, kasi kahit bigyan mo siya ng 5,000 in one go, kulang. Just imagine, Sir Ed, yung 3,000 na sinasabing ayuda, ang tinaas mo sa crudo is 1,000 per day. Ibig sabihin yung 3,000 mo is just good for 3 days. Yun yung dinagdag. Ano? I mean, you have the 50 pesos before, 170 ngayon, so plus 100. And 10 liters ka a day para makapagpalaot ng maayos. So that's 1,000 per day. Yung 3,000 is just 3 days. Kaya sabi natin, hindi siya sustainable. It can only do so much. Pero after ng 3 days, 4 days, what's next? So ang kailangan po talaga ay tuloy-tuloy na suporta. Kung kaya namang bayaran in advance, ibigay na sa mga mangingisda yung kailangan ng petrol. Ganon din sa ating mga farmers kasi eventually by May next month magtatanim sila. Ang tinaas ng fuel ng fertilizer, which is fuel based, unfortunately dumoble na. So yung 60,000 na cost to produce per hectare ng palay, they would be needing an additional 30,000. So ibig sabihin, saan kukunin ng farmer yung 30,000 para makapagtanim siya ulit ng palay by May or June? So by October or November, Sir Ed, ang tanong mo, ano mangyayari? Kung walang magtatanim by May or June, wala tayong aanihing palay by the last quarter of the year.
You know, earlier, the DSWD said they had 30 billion earmarked for assistance. And so far, parang ang magagastos lang nila is mga 3.
3 billion.
3. Oh,
So mga 1/10 pa lang.
so ba't hindi ho ba na
Wala silang chat group.
sangguni na pwedeng DSWD muna ang magbigay ng tulong?
During the hearing, it was suggested actually na kung may pera ang DSWD, total, ang definition na ng AIGS ay individuals in
Exactly.
crisis. So in crisis ang farmer, in crisis ang fisher folk. So hindi na kailangan mag-concentrate lang sa mga transport sector. Immediately, itong sinasabi nilang 18 billion additional or 28 billion na sinabi ng Senado kanina pwedeng magamit, dapat sooner, kung walang pasok bukas, by Friday, ma-sort out, by weekend, ipamigay na sa ating mga farmers and fishers. Kasi nga, eventually, mas doble o triple ang problema natin kapag hindi tayo nakapag-produce ng food. And then, again, rely na naman sa imports. Yun ang gusto-gusto ng NEDA, mag-import tayo. Pero as we've been for the past 2-3 years, walang naidulot yung sobra-sobrang imports. Hindi naman siya bumaba ang presyo, nalugi pa ang farmers natin, hirap din ang ating mga consumers. So, it's really sooner than later, hindi next week, dapat ngayon, bukas, yung matanggap po ng mga suporta ng ating mga mangingisda at mga magsasaka.
Balikan ko lang yung nabanggit mo na kanina kasi yung presyo ng mga pataba ammonia-based fertilizers are produced using natural gas, which as I understand from Secretary Green, na nag-triple na ata yung presyo, if I understand correctly. And dumoble, sabi mo nga, yung presyo ng fertilizer per bag recently. Anong impact niyan down the line, and when will we feel that impact doon sa mga presyo ng agrikultura? If you can, baka you
And
can break
also,
it down.
if I may add to that, Secretary Laurel said that they will use yung
Biomass?
Bio-N.
yes.
Bio-N, yeah.
How
Organic fertilizer.
feasible is that?
Well, it's an alternative, pero kasi ang farmer, pag tinanong mo, gagamitin lang niya yan kung sure siyang may higher yield o kikita siya. Kasi it's all right to introduce it, kaya lang sana hindi yung gantong sitwasyon na hindi alam ng farmer kung magiging maganda yung yield niya kasi ba't niya gagamitin yun to mababa naman ang kanyang mapoproduce. Sir Ed, going back to your question, by May or June, kapag hindi nakapagtanim ang farmer, by then alaman natin na we would be in big trouble by October, November kasi ang stocks natin ng bigas good for 3-4 months, 5 months. Ganon din sa livestock, meron tayong enough supply, marami pa sa cold storages, pero if we stop raising pigs and chicken, if we stop planting, talagang we would feel it as early as June kasi ini-indication mo na wala ka nang ma-harvest o wala ka nang mapoproduce come last quarter of the year.
We're really in dire straits.
We are. Sabi nila, totoong it's much bigger and worrier than the pandemic kasi yung pandemic at least hindi problema yung presyo ng pandemic. Ang problema ng pandemic is mobility.
Yung movement, no? Yung movement
Yeah,
ng goods.
And sana nga po, yung pandemic has taught us one thing, Sir Ed, Mrs., tatlo lang yung mahalaga sa buhay ng tao. And the pandemic has proven that. Unang-una, yung agriculture sector because you need food, Yung pangalawa, yung healthcare kasi yun ang magagamot sa'yo. And pangatlo, basurero kasi yun ang maglilinis ng kalat mo. So, we thought that we have learned our lessons ng pandemic pero unfortunately ngayon, parang nasa huli pa rin yung agriculture sa pecking order ng priorities.
We hope the administration moves fast on this one.
Bok, pahabol ako isa pa. Jason, one more for me. Sabi ni Secretary Garin, kahit bumuti yung kalagayan sa gitnang silangan, asahan mong hindi pa rin bababa anytime soon yung mga presyo ng krudo. Sinigunda niya ni Petilla, ni dating Energy Secretary, na it might take a year and a half, maybe even 3 years, Lord knows, bago mag-normalize yung mga presyo ng produktong petrolyo. Kayo ba'y confident na ang gobyerno handa sa ganong klaseng long-term na pagtulong sa mga sektor ninyo?
O sige. Ayoko nang, of course, I won't answer for him.
Ang sagot dyan, we have to be optimistic. I mean, we're talking with Secretary Kiko, okay, Secretary Laurel. We know he's doing his job. Pero syempre, pagdating kasi sa dulo, saan kukunin ng pera, saan kukunin ang funding. So, doon lagi bumabara. Kaya nga, meron tayong ginawang simulations in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months. Kapag hindi na-solve, ganito mangyayari. And again, yung kahandaan, redounds kung may pera bang maibibigay. The farmers can produce as long as nandyan yung kanyang panggastos. Yung fisher po, kahit magsagwan siya, gagawin niya kung kailangan. And even yung mga ating mga hog raisers and poultry growers, mag-aalaga sila as long as may suporta. Kasi ang bottom line talaga natin, pag nawala ang agriculture, wala na. That's the end of it. You cannot rely sa global market. Nakita ngayon nangyari sa Iran, US conflict ngayon, talagang unreliable yung global market. And you can only rely talaga sa local market mo. Lalo na kung ang bansa like us ay sagana. We can produce everything. We can produce our own food. Yun nga lang, unfortunately, pagdating sa dulo, laging ang tanong ay kaya bang suportahan yung sektor ng agrikultura. Kung walang crisis, Sir Ed, Mrs., hindi naman nangihingi ang sektor ng agriculture. Self-sufficient kami. Actually, we're better being left alone. Kaya lang talaga ngayon, dahil ngayon sa crisis, talagang kinailangan ng public support at tulong talaga ng government kasi hindi kaya yung sobrang sirit ng presyo. Times 3, imagine, talagang siguro kahit yung mga mayayamang farmers are feeling the crunch right now as well.
All right, we thank you for joining us and sounding the alarm. Jason Cainglet of Agriculture Group, SINAG.